here, I'm playing the part of sportscaster Big Bill Allen. 35 million people were watching me, and I'm making a fool of myself, and I can't stop.
Good night, folks. That's a little serious. That's it. All right, here we go. Now.
I take that as very sadistic applause. I really do. But you know, uncontrollable laughter can strike anyone, anywhere, at any time. And it's even worse if you're in a serious context. For example, a newscaster delivering a very serious story.
There's sad news this evening from Columbia, South Carolina. Efforts to save an $8,000 thoroughbred mare from heat stroke failed. That's not funny, of course. A veterinarian had to be called in to put the horse to death. The horse in Hanover collapsed at a truck stop near Interstate 20 early yesterday. Sometimes things like this just strike you.
Watch what happens now in this next scene when, this is legit now, this is not from a comedy thing, a serious religious show when Reverend Eugene Dowdle of a program called Voice of the Church in Spokane, Washington, realizes what has happened at the end of singer Phil Crosby's hymn, Lord, Let It Be. Watch carefully.
Walking close to thee, let it be, dear Lord, let it be.
I can't do it.
Lord, let it be a moth, right? That's the ultimate laughing in church situation where the clergyman himself does the laughing. You know, I got to see that again. That's a classic. Let's roll that tape again with the moth, all right?
Let it be, dear Lord, let it be.
Okay, cue the moth.
Coming up on Life's Most Embarrassing Moments, you'll see embarrassing scenes with Henry Winkler in the cast of Happy Days, Tom Selleck of Magnum P.I., Elizabeth Taylor on General Hospital, and President Ronald Reagan as we continue with Life's Most
Taking an Army physical in real life, as you gentlemen know, have been in the infantry or the Navy or whatever, it can be sort of embarrassing. But when the cast of Happy Days did their version in the scene you're about to view, things did get out of hand, because performing in front of a live audience, in your underwear, actually, can make even a seasoned professional get a little silly.
Turn your head and cough. Now, turn your head and cough. Weber, turn your head and cough.
Sorry.
Ronzarelli. You don't have to cough.
Henry Winkler, who, as you know, plays the Fonz, likes to have a little fun on the set now and then. He is a devil. Watch now how Tom Bosley, Ron Howard, Marion Ross, and Aaron Moran, game troopers, keep the scene going while Henry tries very hard to break them up.
Well, aren't you sweet, Arthur?
Yeah.
How come Richie doesn't have to go?
Because he's older than you and he can take care of himself.
Well, every time we leave him alone, he locks himself out of the house.
I don't lock myself out.
Yes, you do.
Oh, never mind, dear. trip so you won't get cranky.
Well, they're all crushed.
I know. Every time I go to the supermarket, some old man knocks my cart over.
Well, don't go to that market.
I won't. I just hate that store. I heard this morning
Ladies and gentlemen, one of the stars of Happy Days, Scott Baio. Here he is. Scott, we could tell, and I'll put it to you as a question, it must be great fun to work on that show,
Oh,
huh?
yes, it is. It definitely is.
Yeah. Have you had any embarrassing moments on the program?
Well, I'll tell you, there's something about working with Henry Winkler.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it seems that whenever he and I do a scene together, for some reason or another, I just seem to come apart.
Mm-hmm.
Now, in this scene, I'm already gone. And even the audience gets into the act. This is fun.
Action.
Fonz, I need your help.
Action. 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 Action.
Fonz, I need your help.
You need my help. I got no legs. I'm teaching idiots.
Sir Fonz, I need your help.
My help. I got no life.
The whole cast is a lot of fun to work with, and anything can happen at any moment. Now, with this scene, you have to watch Ronnie Howard coming down the stairs. He makes one of the greatest recoveries of all time.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad.
We do that again? Wait till Ronnie gets all the way in. Step in a little more and we'll get her. Ready?
I hope you folks don't have any plans until later this evening.
The rumble tonight is officially declared a tie. Huh? The hangout will be dry.
Now, sometimes all it takes to set you off is like 2 words. Like, Pinky Tuscadero.
The Fonz does not play guessing games while chewing.
You remember the girl with the motorcycle, all dressed in pink? Pinky Putz.
Hey, Richard, the Fonz does not...
Okay, sir. Ready? And action.
Richard, the Fonz does not play guessing games.
Come on. We got that line.
Hey, Richard, the Fonz does not play guessing games. Hey, Richard, the Fonz does not play guessing games. Hey, Fonz,
Scott Baio. What you're about to see is really wild. During a news broadcast, it's the anchor man who keeps the show together and right on the track. We've come to depend on him to get the facts straight. But even anchormen are not totally beyond embarrassment. And in this scene, the anchor has a little trouble simply pronouncing the word presidency. Listen carefully.
With one-liners for his doctors and his signature on a piece of legislation, President Ronald Reagan is alive and well and kicking tonight, one day after the assassination attempt, just 2.5 months into his pregnancy.
During the course of a broadcast, an anchorman will frequently direct the action to another location, you know, like take it away, Jim, in Cleveland or something. When someone is caught by surprise, it's the anchor's turn to cope with the difficulty in his own special way. Let's see what happens.
Sue Pearson's standing by in our newsroom right now with an update. Coming up in about a half an hour.
Keep your eye on the girl in the background.
Veterans protests in Los Angeles. 2 of those demonstrating vets passed out today.
Yes, and weightlifters also in the newsroom. Weeknight tonight at 7. To Canberra for our live network budget team in the national capital. Ready for us.
Correspondent Scott Barrett is at George Washington University Hospital with a live update.
Now, which network catering service is that? ABC? I can report that ABC's catered lunch.
Hey, Scott is having trouble listening to us. We'll see if we can't get in touch with him for you.
Well, of course, precision teamwork is essential in bringing us the news. The anchor and his behind-the-scenes staff must be in perfect synchronization, and when they're not, it can be hideously embarrassing.
Quick thinking on the part of a West Side man may have saved him and his family possible disaster. Emergency medical technicians rushed to 1309 West 111th Street, and that's hardly the story we're talking about, so we'll tell you about it later on, okay?
The autopsy report on slain guardian angel Frank Melvin will be made public tomorrow. Melvin was shot and killed last Wednesday by a Newark police officer who says he thought Melvin was threatening his partner. Meanwhile, members of the Angels are marching across New Jersey tonight to protest what they call a cover-up in that investigation. Our apologies. Of course, that's not the tape report of the Guardian Angel demonstration in Newark, New Jersey. We'll try to get that for you a little bit later on.
I've seen that one about 5 times. I laugh louder every time I see it. Now, you fellas, and maybe you ladies too, probably think that a sportscaster on TV has the easiest job in the world. All he has to do is introduce highlights of, games, and somebody in the control room plays the film or the tape, and that's all there is to it, right? Wrong. In Cleveland, WEWLS sportscaster Howard Sudbury has a real TV news nightmare. And watch now and see how he handles these repeated embarrassing moments. It's incredible.
The Tournament of Champions is over down in Akron, and the new champion beat the old champion. Yeah, that looks like a bowling tournament there, doesn't it? Right. There's the 10th frame of it. On the outside, that was a horse race, by the way, in case you had noticed. Very perceptive, aren't I? That was a horse by the name of Liscapade winning the Derby trial today down at Churchill Downs. He's not even nominated for the Kentucky Derby. He had beaten one of the favorites for the race by the name of Star Gallant. Now, can we get to the bowling tournament? It was the tournament champions down in Akron. I don't think we're going to get it. I'm dying out here, you know. Mike Durbin won the thing. There he is. Thanks, Mike. You saved me. It put Bobby Rahal in the winner's circle at the Cleveland 500. You see, Rahal's originally from Ohio, from Medina, and they make it to the winner's circle. Now, how did they get there? Well, for one thing, they avoided the problems, like these parades that got in the way of the cars for a while. Look at all the people on the track. Why don't we get to the car race? That was all very interesting, but obviously wasn't what we were after. The best news for the Indians will come when they get the heck out of Kansas City. They have now lost 4 out of 5 games to the Royals this year. Right now, they got beat tonight. We don't have any highlights, right? They're not ready? Okay, well, the Indians weren't ready either. They got beat tonight by a score of 5-1. Now, it was 1-0. The Yankees were leading when Mike Hargrove got a single in the beginning. We don't have this either? Okay, I'm 0 for 2 tonight so far. Maybe we'll get our stuff together. Can we get golf? Let's try that. He has made a ton. Oh, let's go back to baseball. Hey, I'll swing with you. Out of the scoreboard, first of all, the top 10 finishers in the Cleveland 500 with their how many laps they finished out beside it, and the baseball scores. Those are scores from a couple of years ago. I don't know where the others are. Are you ready with them? No, we're not. Well, let's go to a commercial and get our act together, and maybe we'll come back. I apologize for our problem. The scoreboard is ready.
World Championship?
Wait a minute. Hey, I'm sober, too.
What could be more embarrassing than using an animal in a commercial? You'll find out, including Tom Selleck taking an unexpected trip, Elizabeth Taylor and Tony Geary in General Hospital,
No matter where we live in the good old USA, we all see car commercials. Well, we have a gentleman out here by the name of Cal Worthington who does commercials with his dog, Spot. But what's different about Cal's commercials is that Spot is not always a dog.
Here's Cal Worthington and his dog, Spot.
If you're looking for a better set of wheels,
I will stand upon my head to make a deal. I will stand upon my head till my ears are turning red. Go see Cal, go see Cal, go see Cal.
So far, nothing wrong. But working with animals can sometimes be embarrassing. Here are the scenes you do not see.
never worry, never sweat, go see Cal. All you want to get, go see Cal. By the dealers you have cussed, here's a dealer you can trust. All you have to do is just go see Cal.
He will come right to your aid. Go see Cal.
If you want your payment low, if you want to save some dough, go see Cal, go see Cal, go see Cal. If you need a car, truck, if you want to save a buck,
go see Cal, go see Cal, go see Cal.
In 1965, in front of a national audience, Robert Goulet, a wonderful singer, actually forgot the words to, you know it, our national anthem. Well, it created an incredible incredible reaction around the world. And here to talk about it is the man himself, Mr. Bob Goulet. The king of embarrassment, Robert Goulet. Well, we've already said what had happened, but what's your angle of vision on it? What occurred that evening in your eyes?
What actually happened, when I was 11 years old, my father passed away. My mother and sister and I moved to Canada. And so in Canada, all those years, we never sang the Star-Spangled Banner. I was in the United States. I'd done the show Camelot. And I was on the West Coast. I'd asked my manager to get us 2 tickets to the fight in Lewiston, Maine, my mother's hometown. And he said, only if you sing the banner. And I said, I haven't sung it since I was 11 years old. He says, well, you want the tickets? And I said, yes. Of course, on that night, we had dinner with the governor of Maine, and I left the table 3 times to go out on the porch, the Poland Springs Hotel, and I know the words, got into the ring and changed 1 word. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early night?
Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early night what so proudly we hail?
Well, I walk into the town a hero, and I left the town a bum.
You also have a knack of getting into embarrassing situations on TV shows. With Mike Douglas, you've done that several times, haven't you?
Oh, well, I didn't do anything. They were always playing tricks on me. They were terrible. Well, in my act, I go into the audience, and I sing to different people, and I like, on occasion, to choose a delightful-looking young lady and go do a
very
love song.
Romantic love song tour, yeah.
Where do I go? We got a mic for you right here. I see. One of these things. Where am I going? Oh! Yvonne, I called you this morning and you weren't home. Oh! I'm getting older.
It's not the pale moon that excites me, that thrills and delights me. Oh, no. Carol, it's just the nearness of you. It isn't your sweet conversation that brings this sensation. Oh, no.
We discovered that when some people see that, they don't quite get. I thought it was first just a girl putting on another way. That was a fella, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it worked out. He's been writing every week.
Ah, come on. Well, on this next situation now, you had a little trouble with a big bear, right? You were wrestling a bear or something?
Yeah, I was asked to wrestle the bear, but I refused to do that, but I agreed to referee if the bear would wrestle with someone from the audience.
I see.
Get over. No, not me.
Thank you so much for sharing your great embarrassing moment. Robert DeLay. Magnum PI has made Tom Selleck one of television's leading sex symbols. But even a sex symbol can forget a line, for Pete's sake. Watch how Tom talks his way out of these embarrassing moments.
Well, you know, we ran some pretty interesting stuff at the Academy. Maybe, I tell you what, if I could think of this next line, we could finish and go to the studio. He is listed as a representative. What is it?
He's registered.
Registered. Okay.
All right. And action. Look at that girl.
Rick, will you please? Now, this is Tarasov. He's registered as a representative of the Royal Order of the Street Light.
Okay, Bert, hold your horses.
Miss Cole?
Who are you?
I'm Mr. Magnum.
In this scene, Tom and John Hillerman are thrown off by an off-screen voice.
Sure is. You know, as a matter of fact...
Yes, the Ferrari is one of Robin Master's favorites, Admiral Wheeler.
Jonathan! Oh, Jonathan, come quickly. Your hot cross buns are smoking.
Now, this next scene took place on one of those days when everything went wrong. We've all had days like that. And to relieve the tension, the technical crew decided to really give old Tom the business. After he delivers the wrong line, watch what happens as they try to laugh him off the set.
I'm your coach. I'm your mentor. I'm gonna kill you if you don't play.
Fine. Then you can play with her.
Well, sir, a lot of talent and a great deal of time goes into putting together a halftime show, you know, between the halves of a football game. And because halftime is kind of an intermission, the performers sometimes get the feeling that nobody's really watching them. But do one embarrassing thing, and suddenly the whole world is watching.
possibly be...
News is an entirely different area, and it creates its own kind of embarrassing moments. George Richards of station WHTM was sent out to interview a woman named Lulu Gregory, who's celebrating her 107th birthday. Unfortunately, nobody had told Lulu what was going on.
What's that big light up there in my face? I can't see. Okay, let it go.
You put it up.
If they need it, let it go. Who are you?
I'm George Richards.
Who?
George Richards. I'm a TV reporter.
When a reporter, such as that gentleman, is covering a story and has to deal with an animal, anything can happen, and as the old saying goes, usually does.
Well, most of the monkeys that you'll find here are unadoptable. They're the battered victims of human neglect and cruelty. Well, tonight on PM Magazine, we're going to meet the man that formed this organization. We'll...
Thinking about a bird for a pet, look for one who's alert and active, and beware of bargain birds.
With the arrival of the Scottish team, we hope in just a moment to have a quick word with Alan McLeod, the team manager.
Nothing can ever be like it was, but the people around here hope that what they have planned for Bughouse Square is going to make it even better. Rona Douglas, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Oh, dear. I'm getting embarrassed for all those people. Anyway, a reporter is always trying to meet a deadline. Frequently, however, he doesn't have the time to fully test the subject of his report.
This is the Department of Transportation airbag demonstration car. If I were traveling, say, at about 25 to 30 miles an hour and hit a parked car, this is what would happen.
Newsman Jesse Macias sees what it's like to maneuver a wheelchair up a ramp.
Well, they said it was easy.
This reporter has her back to the water. Watch what happens when the tide comes in.
That will suck the sand off the wreckage and will give park rangers a better idea of exactly what's down there.
This reporter gets a little too close to the action. Keep your eye on the plane behind you.
All day long out of the Price Airport. So far, there's no luck, but the duck. Thanks, Jackson.
Getting around quickly is essential to a field reporter.
Well, now that Richard has plenty of money, he says he wants to go back to school and study his lifelong dream, photography. More of our evening snowmobile ride from Steamboat Springs, Colorado in just a moment. Stay tuned. Don't go away. We'll be right back. In just a minute. Forget it. Don't come back if you don't want to. I don't care.
This reporter tries to cope with an unexpected gust of wind.
Drop the microphone!
In this next little segment here, a sports reporter learns that conducting an interview with a professional wrestler can be hazardous to your health. It really happened.
I started wrestling 10 years ago, and I've never looked back since.
In fact, we're going to finish. He's going to demonstrate how he finally disposes of people. I think it's called the slam, and I hope he's not actually going to fall on me. So, Hugh, if you can take that. I don't know what's in prospect for me here. Certainly, yes. Can somebody take that?
What I'm going to demonstrate is just the first part of the move, which I specialise in. I'll do the first part of the slam, the second part of the splash, which I won't carry on with. So if I move up. And the second part is where I would straight across him, and he certainly wouldn't move.
I mean, people say it's play acting. Oh, thanks very much, Mr. Hurst. Oh.
My pleasure.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, one of the most exciting actors in television today. Welcome, Tony Geary. Tony, as you don't have to be told, acting on a soap opera is very demanding. I would think that with the great number of scenes you're involved with that you've had to perform, you must have had your share of embarrassing moments, huh?
Yeah, I would say so. In this scene, I'm to run in and visit Holly, played by actress Emma Sams, who's in jail. I got a little carried away, but luckily they didn't have to carry me away. Watch.
Holly.
I don't know why I'm laughing. That looked like it hurt. It's cruel of us to laugh like that. Well, we all remember last year when you starred with Elizabeth Taylor on your show. Now, that was something really unusual. What was it like working with Elizabeth Taylor?
Oh, it was a wonderful experience. Elizabeth is a very warm and generous actress.
Mm-hmm.
She's got a great body sense of humor, and she ain't too shabby to look at.
Body, yes.
Body,
yes.
Body, yes.
Yes.
With a W, I believe.
All right, yeah.
Actually, I was quite awestruck, to tell you the truth.
I would like you to know that I tried to save your husband. I don't know what I saw because I'm up.
It's Elizabeth Taylor!
You should have heard me yesterday.
By the way, we'd like to thank Elizabeth Taylor for being gracious enough to let us see some of the scenes from General Hospital that were not her usual, glamorous sort of thing. Miss Taylor, in what you're about to see here, played the wife of a Greek tycoon, Mrs. Mikos Kazadine. And in this scene, she could not seem to keep her mind off money, even when she was discussing the temperature of her bath water.
My bath water is to be precisely 85% degrees. God, some monetary.
Dr. Alan Quartermain, Dr. Rick Weber.
Hello.
Gentlemen, Mrs. Mikos Cassadine.
Dr. Weber, the father of the bride-to-be.
Yes, that's right.
Please convey my regrets to your wife. I was indisposed when she tried to re-agrees. I screwed that up.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Nikos Cassadine.
I have seen General Hospital.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Mikos Cassadine.
I have seen General Hospital and the university, and I approve. As my husband would have approved. Mikos Cassadine.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mrs. Mikos Cassadine.
I have seen General Hospital and the university, and I approve. As my husband would have approved. Mikos Cassadine had a deep and abiding love. I said Cassadine.
Right.
Oh, I startled myself. I'm sorry, folks. I'm not used to acting.
Well, thanks, Sherry. Sherry. Oh, gee. I was going to say for sharing the moment. Geez, you realize this clip is going to be on some other show? Thanks, Tony, for sharing whatever you shared with us in Trippi. Thank you. Tony Geary.
Coming up, some classic embarrassments with Humphrey Bogart, Edward G. Robinson, James Cagney, Errol Flynn, Betty Davis, Eve Arden, Eleanor Parker, and Ronald Reagan on life's most embarrassing moments.
On the last show of this embarrassing series, we proved that the biggest stars of Hollywood's golden age were not beyond embarrassment. They had a little bit from time to time. And we have with us tonight someone who was part of that special time. She's appeared in a number of your favorite films over the years. I'm sure you also remember her as our Miss Brooks. And she recently starred in the film Grease. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Eve Arden. You look glorious. I must say you... I must say you look resplendent.
My daughter designed and made this for me. Isn't that lovely?
She's very clever indeed.
Yes,
very
she
clever
is.
indeed, yes. Well, now, to get down to business, what was it like working with all the great stars of Hollywood?
Oh, it was wonderful because I really started at the right time as far as I was concerned.
Mm-hmm.
I came here from New York where I'd played in the theater, and before I signed a contract with Warner Brothers, I worked at all the big studios, MGM and Universal and Sam Goldwyn and RKO, so that I got to work with many of the stars. And it was wonderful because I was a fan, too.
Yes.
I worked with Clark Gable and Lana Turner and, well, you name them.
Yes. Well, I'll name one or two right now.
Go on.
It's hard to think when we think of those legends like Clark Gable or Humphrey Bogart, you hardly ever think of them making the kind of mistakes the rest of us do, you know?
Oh, they did, though.
Of course.
I know, because I was there, and
Yes.
I made them, too. But the handsome and daring Humphrey Bogart made a particular one. I think you're going to see now Bogey making a very un-Bogey-like move.
All right, let's take a look at it.
Are you hurt?
This thing threw me. What is it?
Here are Jimmy Cagney and Ann Sheridan from the Torrid Zone.
Yeah, the conductor was going my way.
Mm-hmm.
Nice little park you have here. If you like bananas. Here's more, here's more. Oh, what the hell am I saying?
Here's Eddie Cantor as an irate patient being calmed down by Ruth Donnelly.
How do we feel? You ask how do we feel? Now, Big Chief, come on, let's go into the pee-pee and have a...
Here are some embarrassing moments with Jimmy Stewart and Rosalind Russell from the movie No Time for Comedy.
People have laughed comedies and gotten up and gone home. But they'll be stirred by this play. And they'll stay in their seats and they'll yell. They'll yell.
How do you do? I'm very glad to see you. I knew as soon as I did it.
Of course, I know your capacity for that. She's devastated.
Not so devastated she lost her sense of direction. She made straight for the library.
That's all right. It's her library. She can make for it if she likes.
I hear you're collaborating.
Well, I can't work around here. Oh, you're following me. Oh, I didn't know that.
From Devotion, here's Olivia de Havilland and Paul Henreid getting caught up in the heat of the moment.
What was it? What was the barrier that...
Here's Humphrey Bogart with Edward G. Robinson, who's having a little trouble giving orders.
Quit tapping telephone wires. Spend your time building up new rackets. So that when McLaren comes up for air, you'll find a dozen more go.
Here's John Garfield coming down with a case of amnesia.
Doctor, I can't help it. It's orders.
All right, I'll tell you her name. Her name? What the hell is her name?
Here's Kay Francis getting an unexpected send-off.
No, I've got to read it. Yes, I do. Got it. Now, wait a minute.
From The Man Who Came to Dinner, here's Monty Woolley with Reginald Gardner, who makes an embarrassing slip of the tongue.
Shall I tell you how I glittered through the South Seas like a silver scimitar? Or would you rather hear how I finished a 3-act play with one hand whilst making love to a Maharaja with... Oh.
Now it's Monty's turn to be embarrassed in front of Betty Davis.
Maggie, you know that one of my cardinal principles is never to interfere in anybody else's wife. Wife.
Don't look at me and say that.
Here's Earl Flynn and Gentleman Jim getting an unexpected massage.
Look out here, you mugs. Let somebody rub this man here that knows how.
I guess of all the stars that were part of the Warner Brothers family, there's no one who's gone farther than
I know who you're going to say.
Reagan.
Ronald Reagan.
Obviously. Now, you starred with him, Eve, in the film The Voice of the Turtle. What was it like to work with Ronnie as an actor?
Well, Ronnie had the same sense of humor as an actor as he does as our president.
Yeah.
We did Voice of the Turtle in 1947. Mm-hmm. And he had just been made president of the Screen Actors Guild.
Right.
And I used to kid him about it.
Bill, darling.
Hello.
Sally, I want you to meet Van Johnson, president of the Actors Guild.
How do you do? I haven't been in an apartment like this for a long time. It's been 2 years since I was in New York.
How does it look to you?
About the same as any other place these days, but good. You're looking blooming.
Oh, I'm fine. You been getting any lately?
Overtime, you mean?
In Voice of the Turtle, Ronald Reagan's having a lot of trouble with Eleanor Parker's dress.
All right, now take a deep breath and hold it. I'll try not to hurt. I'll try to get the... Take a deep breath and hold it. I'll try not to hurt too much. Now take a deep breath and hold it. I'll try not to hurt too much.
Bill!
Here's Ronald Reagan having a little trouble getting ready for action. Well, it's always a delight to see you, and thank you so much for being with us tonight. Eve Arden, ladies and gentlemen.
We'll be back with more of Life's Most Embarrassing.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us for a most embarrassing evening. And I want to thank everybody who had the courage to share their embarrassing moments with us. Good night. And remember, the next time something embarrassing happens to you, you now know you're not alone. Thank you very much.
If you have an embarrassing moment, drop us a line to Embarrassing Moments, Post Office Box 25607, Los Angeles, California 90025.
Holders of all kinds are featured in an